What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be having a look at a couple questions people have been asking. First off, are there dedicated servers in Call of Duty World War II? And second, is the tick rate actually 60 Hz, or the update rate of your packets, both upload as well as download to the servers in this game? Many people throughout the first weekend of the beta have been having connection issues and they've been struggling a lot with that, and it feels like the connection is terrible for them. And they're insisting that there are no dedicated servers and that the tick rate must be like 5 or 10 or something like that, rather than the 60 that they've stated. So first up, let's answer the simple question, are there dedicated servers being used? Yes, there definitely are dedicated servers being used, but having said that, it appears they're once again using a hybrid system. So what this hybrid system means is it's going to try to put you on a dedicated server if possible, and generally if you're in Europe or North America or Australia, you're going to end up on dedicated servers. But if you can't get a good connection to a dedicated server, whether that be you live really far away from one, or the servers are just full at that point and there's no room for you in a server that's nearby, it will fall back to a listen server system that will select a player host. Now, for those of you guys that are wondering, I was able to find all of the dedicated server locations that we can see so far, at least within the first weekend of the beta. I expect that this probably won't change, or at least it won't change much before the final build of the game. But these are the dedicated server locations. We also know, if you trace the IPs of these servers, that they are being hosted by Vultr as well as GameServers.com. So to answer the question about dedicated servers, yes, 100% there are definitely dedicated servers being used for COD World War II. This doesn't mean you're always going to be on a dedicated server, but they definitely are there, and I can speak from my personal experience. You can see my location there, it's Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I connected to the Seattle dedicated server every single game I played while I was playing solo. Now, sometimes I was playing with my girlfriend who lives in Norway, and in those situations, obviously, I was connecting to a few European servers. But for me, at least, I was playing on a dedicated server 100% of the time throughout the beta weekend. Now, as for the question about 60 Hz tick rate, somebody did some testing on this and posted the results on Reddit. I will link that down below. All the credit goes to him. I tried to figure out how to do this myself, but it was just a little over my head and I didn't have the time to do it myself. But he tested the numbers here. He tested his upload rate as well as download rate with his packets, and he was getting consistently right around 60 packets per second on both down as well as upstream. And this is really significant to see. This means that as long as the game itself is running at 60 Hz, which Sledgehammer has confirmed that it is, we are actually sending our packets at 60 Hz as well, both upload as well as download. Whereas in the past, it's always been around 20 Hz or so, depending on the game. Some games differed a little bit, but it was usually around 20 Hz upload to the dedicated servers. Now keep in mind, he did this testing only on dedicated servers. This wasn't with a player host, and my guess would be if you are using a player host, you would be seeing some different results. But at least on dedicated servers, it does appear this game is running at 60 Hz. And this is excellent news. I really didn't think this would be the year where they brought 60 Hz servers in, but it appears that they're definitely here. And what this is going to mean on average is a more consistent connection experience. Now, this is where I want to address something else. A lot of people have been complaining about connection in the beta, and understandably so. I've seen lots of clips with obviously very bad connection issues. But what a lot of people seem to be forgetting about is this is the time where they are purposely stress testing these servers. They're tweaking settings, they are purposely trying to test the limits of these servers. So of course, we should be expecting some connection issues throughout the beta weekends, and what this is hopefully going to mean is they're going to iron out a lot of issues that we otherwise would have seen within the first week of launch. So I'm hoping this is what leads to a very smooth launch with this game, as well as significantly improved connection experience compared to the previous Call of Duty games that we've played. Now, one other thing I feel needs to be said towards the end of this video, because a lot of people have misconceptions in this area. Dedicated servers, even 60 Hz dedicated servers, are not going to completely eliminate lag and instances where weird stuff goes on as far as connections go. We should see an improved connection experience. Generally, it should be a little bit more consistent. It should feel better. We're playing an online game where milliseconds count, and therefore there are always going to be some issues that arise, whether that be on your end or the host's end or somewhere in between. Issues can and will still happen with dedicated servers. I feel like that always needs to be said because so many people, the moment they see any kind of lag, then they completely insist that dedicated servers don't exist, because dedicated servers completely eliminate any sort of latency, any sort of lag in an online environment, and that's simply not true. So with that, I think it's time to wrap up this video. I'd like to know in the comment section below. I'm quite interested. I've seen a lot of complaints about the connections for the first weekend of the beta on PS4. I'd like to know what your experience was, whether that was positive or negative overall with connections. How did you feel about the connections in the game? For me at least, it actually ran silky smooth, I would say 90% of the time. It felt awesome. I wasn't dealing with too much latency. I wasn't getting too many situations where I felt like I was being cheated out of a kill due to lag. And I was even playing on a decent amount of European servers when I was playing with my girlfriend. And even on those servers, yes, I noticed some latency, of course, but things still ran pretty smooth. I wasn't really running into too many issues in this area. I know not everybody has had the same experience, and I really hope you guys end up getting the experience that I've had over this past weekend, because it felt great. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.